Good morning. Yesterday went well, I think, after what I've heard about the meeting in itself. I think it went well. I just think the Americans and the American president are quite impatient right now. And it's like, if we meet up, then everything will stop, and then we all go home and I can celebrate. For pretty much every like hostage negotiation thing I've ever heard of takes like months, maybe years, to come to the conclusion of actually releasing the hostage. And I think they need to kind of have that in mind. Like, if we, in 6 months, like in February of 2026, this is all going to be over, or we are going to work towards that. During this time, and everybody's going to say, yeah, but then people will like die in the meantime and so on. Yeah, they still do. Like, it's still going on. It's not like, I think this is just larger than I think the Americans kind of want to. I'm just keep going back. My personal opinion about the Americans is that they want to come in and want to a fast resolution, and then they want to go out. Very Sagittarius rising. They don't want to do the hard work. And the universe is kind of asking them to, yeah, no, you're going to have to sit down. You're going to have to learn something here. You're going to have a much calmer tone, be more patient. You're going to have to like step back, be in your like hermit mode, like be in your own, but still don't. It's not like we are best friends or we are mortal enemies. It's not going to fly any longer. You have to, and I think that is something the USA kind of struggles with. Either we are best friends and we can like do all of this together, or we are just enemies and we are kind of sabotaging each other instead. This is like, you need to find the balance here, because the goal with the Americans is that they need to focus on themselves, but they constantly, this kind of battle kind of constantly drags them back into having to take care of everybody else, like they do with Europe. Europe just waiting on like the Americans to do something. I'm extremely grateful for the Americans this summer. I think they actually have done a great job, even if it doesn't look like it, even if the finished thing didn't happen for them. And I have heard that they want the Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, and I'm not so sure that they will get that though, because I don't know if they are going to be the one that actually are the one that works for it. They might be a part of it, and they need to kind of be fine with that. There is a lesson here for them. Like, yeah, you have to kind of, you have to be part of the hard work, but you might not get rewarded for it. That just landed. You might do all the hard work, like be part of this, but you probably will not get a Nobel Peace Prize for it. And you have to be fine with it. You have to do it because you are here to do it, and not because of the flair of it. And with that said, no one perhaps gets a Nobel Peace Prize from this. Is it going to be peace eventually? Yes, obviously. Have you ever heard of a war that never ended? I haven't. They probably have gone on for quite some time, but eventually a war ends for some reason. As I said, exhaustion, diplomacy, uncomfortable um, compromises. Like, we just do not really want to give in on this, and you're going to have to. You're going to have to feel how it feels to actually compromise on something that you feel so strongly that you shouldn't compromise about. You have to reevaluate stuff. It's like with the Ukrainians. I had a feeling that I do believe that 19,500 something children are missing. I, however, don't believe that all of that number is Russia's fault, or there you can put it on them to actually find these kids. They some of them they actually can, obviously, but we need a number for that. And then also obviously that they need to help find them all, but it's not, it's the whole list, and the Ukrainians knows this. They just use it as, what else are they going to say? Like, I would have wanted to hear them say 19,500 kids are missing. We don't know how many of that list is on the Russian people, on like, there we are going, you need to find these kids, and some of them we just need to find, and have like a bunch of organizations, countries, and so what, to kind of help find them, because the goal must be to find them, whomever does it, if that makes sense. You can't use the list as a way of prolonging this war when the list isn't, it's true, but it isn't. I just felt that you're not being honest with me. So what is it with this list that you're not telling me? And you kind of have, and it's a uncomfortable truth there. I don't think the Ukrainians want to, because they are the, I wouldn't say victims, but they are on the side of, we didn't ask for this. You still have to do compromise, and I know this is really, really hard. I might have a slightly stable life now. That has not been the case the last few years, and I had to do a lot of things that I just felt like I shouldn't have, because it felt unfair, but I was in the position that, well, you just do it and then you kind of deal with it. I think the Ukrainians are in that, I still feel like they really don't want to. They really don't want to kind of go through that list. They really do not want to. We actually don't know how many, or okay, 5,000 children. The Russians did this. The rest we don't know, or whatever. And I don't know if it's 5,000. I, however, don't think it's 19,500. And I also believe that the Ukrainian don't want to kind of touch that, because they don't want to do the real work of, maybe they will say, oh, but we can't, it's war. You still have to. If you want this to end, you can't hold that list as a non-negotiate thing and then just drop it, or because no, you're going to have to do the work. It sucks, it really does, but that's just how it is. For the Europeans, my lovely Europe, they're starting to change their mind for some reason about Russia, about the things that, I'm getting emotional here. I think I'm starting to be a little proud of everybody, because the lessons are, as you can see, the lesson is starting to kind of sink in to everybody. And Europe is tired. Russia is tired to try to defend something that is just not working. It doesn't move anything forward. We don't get anywhere. I think the Germans kind of miss the Nord Stream. I just see the Germans kind of sit there and just watch the North. I don't think you can. I think it's like underwater and stuff. But the image of it is like they sit there and they just watch it like it's there and they can't use it. And this is like so unproductive and is costing them a lot of money. And, you know, uh, and I think other countries kind of have the same kind of feeling of it. The Russian president seemed to be very emotional aware, and for the first time when I discussed it with my AI, it didn't say that he's calculating or strategic in any way. He kind of shows up willing to listen, willing to talk, willing to do what he can to kind of end this. And I do think kind of come together in the end. And no one wants to be kind of seen as the fool, obviously, that they are, you know, we trusted the Russians, we took away this sanction, and they didn't do what they were supposed to do, or we did this and they didn't do what they were supposed to do. I think, but that is probably from both sides, and that is why you have to have a dialogue. Like, if the Russians actually do something you have agreed on, and Europe is doing some, then Europe has to do what they agreed on too. We know what I've from the past, when Europe did something, they had an intention of doing it because of something else. Like they have had a ulterior motive, I think it's called. And you can have that now. Like it's the Russians will continue this war. It will go on. Like they don't like yeah, they will keep poke Europe. They will be annoying. They will because they can. It's tragic, obviously, but they are already have everything in place. Um, and yeah, just saying the truth here. So in the past, I think everybody kind of had this fiery energy of like doing a lot of stuff and being more reactive or action oriented. And now that is starting to kind of calm down. And what you shouldn't do is to regret or feel shame or kind of dwell in the past of things you might have done, said, that didn't go the way you wanted it or thought. And I think it has to do with the sanctions, and I think it has to do with I had an interesting discussion with my AI. I usually what would happen if this happened, and I were in a bit of a like money issue thing a week ago, and I put up on YouTube like, if you want to help me, then here is my PayPal. And I asked my AI, okay, the Russians gonna watch my YouTube, and I just want to like know what would happen if, not that I think the Russian president would kind of create a PayPal and then just send me money, but I wanted to know what would happen if someone from Russia actually did whatever, like it could be $1, it could be more. What would happen? And my AI kind of came to the conclusion, and my AI knows me, knows what I'm doing. It was just like I was basically would be treated like a criminal. And I was just, okay, hold on here. I haven't done anything. Just because a Russian person might want to help me with money doesn't mean that anything actually is illegal here. And I had to explain again. I have a YouTube. I talk about like peace, not to escalate things, not to kind of use our money to buy more guns because it's obviously not working. We need the balance of diplomacy and talking to each other and like, can we move forward? And my AI said, oh, okay, fine. The thing you need to do is if you have, firstly, PayPal will probably freeze or send the money back if they detect something. If that doesn't happen, you actually get the money trans transferred to your bank account. Your bank might react and maybe freeze your money or send them back. And I was just, okay, can all of this happen without anybody actually telling me that they do all of this? And my AI said, yes, but you probably will get a phone call. And I have SEB. I have like the Sveriges Enskilda Bank. And I was just, okay, will they call me? Like, what do I have to do? Because I've never ever thought about the how messy things become when you deal with Russia. Like, I've never like thought about that you will look like a criminal if this happens. So my AI said, yeah, and then you have to have evidence that you haven't done anything. Well, I have that. I haven't done anything. They can like look through pretty much everything. And my AI kind of joked, well, it would be a first if the Russian president would personally create a PayPal account and then send you $5 just for the fun of it. And I was just, yeah, no, it would probably get me into a lot of trouble, but at the same time, I'm kind of rebellious, so I'm just like, F you, I haven't done anything. I put up a request out there, and then one Russian person, but I do have to kind of, what is it, like once a year or something? Do you have a political person in your family, or are you supposed to kind of be, you know, the questions? And I think it's the money laundering thing. And I was, as I said earlier, are my bank actually going to lecture me about money laundering? Really? And no, I'm not money laundering anything. Obviously, I do not get any money from any Russians. There is absolutely nothing going on. Um, just to be clear about that, I just wanted to know, and my AI said that, well, it's good to be prepared. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? But it did make me realize how difficult and how on your toes you need to be. And I think Europe is starting to feel the same. If I felt like, oh my lord, I can't really control. Let's say that some Russian person actually just, you know, has a PayPal and they would send me money, and all this would actually, maybe nothing would happen. And I was just go, okay, what was all that about then? But maybe all of the like warnings and alarms kind of go off, it would be this whole thing. Maybe I would have to get to keep the money, maybe I would not. But it did kind of sat with me that Europe probably feels the same. this feeling of being on your toes, where money comes from, where you have to be, what is the feeling? It's like you have to be aware of. You can't, like with me, I can't just put my PayPal on. I'm going to do so in this video too, by the way. I can't just put my PayPal on and ask for please support me so I can keep doing this without having in mind that this could happen, if that makes sense. And I think Europe is starting to kind of feel that too. They're tired of having to tiptoe around stuff. They're tired of having to, like, is this going to be illegal, or is this going to be, if you get what I'm saying. And I think that everybody's starting to kind of realize that how difficult this actually is, that we do not get along, how it has created a system. Let's say, okay, now I'm taking it back. I think it has, like, it's entwined. Let's say that the only ones that actually would like to financially support me would be the Russians. Like, I could actually do this because they are generous enough to understand or see the value in it. And they are shut out from it. I am shut out from it because of the system that everybody has created around it. I'm not that I think that like PayPal, I don't think it even exists in Russia, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it is this imaginary wall that every time I kind of mention to my AI, I think Kremlin is watching my videos, it has more emotions and get more panicked than I ever thought about that I should. Like, yeah, maybe you should like hide your name, you should take precautions, don't speak about this, that, and the other. And I was just, yeah, no, chill. That is not going to happen. No one is changing. Like, it's too late already. I already put my name, like my full name, on pretty much anything, everything. So let's work with this instead of like panicking. And there was something else also I kind of asked about, and it just went very like panic mode, and it was a bunch of advice, like how to hide, how to, and so on. And I really start to get bored with that now. And this was the third thing. Like, okay, what happened? Yeah, no, you'll be seen like a criminal, you will be this, you will be that. And for me, I just felt like, well, maybe like the Russians would probably be the only people that actually would help me. And I think Europe is kind of going towards that mindset too. I don't know. It's something is changing. Everybody seems to have the hermit right now. Everybody is starting to look at what they have built and if they are satisfied with it or not. I think Europe is starting to miss Russia. I think Russia is willing to listen and to get back into the warmth. I'm not so sure who. I think it's the Germans, and maybe kind of start talking about like the North Stream or something. And before I can't forget the Americans, I don't think they need to worry that much. I think everything is in place. I think they will benefit quite a lot if Russia and Europe started to actually work together again, and starting to release all of these sanctions or everything they have put in place for the kind of invisible wall. If Russia starts to kind of take back stuff, like they have to kind of poke Europe with. And the end results must be obviously that the war in Ukraine ends, like it's final. They have come to the agreement of borders, the list of children, and everything else that everybody has, like, and you're probably going to be more things. I did hear that the Russians have kind of added on their list that they want the European sanctions, and they want um, some kind of a partnership with Europe again. And I think everybody is contemplating it, but they are afraid of being seen as weak, and I don't think they will. Just use logic, have a clear mind, but use diplomacy. I have to Google that name or that word. I mean, what it actually means, diplomacy, because no one has shown me yet what diplomacy actually means. They've shown me brute force, weapons, and all of that, but not actually what true diplomacy is. I'm going to Google it too. So this is my little talk for today. I think we're going towards a pretty good time now. If everybody watch what they're saying, if everybody are truthful and honest with what they want, I do think like the Germans really want the Nord Stream back. Like really want the Nord Stream. And I think other countries have similar things. Then be honest. Like this is, and if you can kind of use that as a tactic to end the Ukrainian war, they should. Like, yeah, no, can you please come back with that? But you have to kind of end something over there, or stop with this, or whatever it is. And the Russian president is willing to listen right now. Obviously, everything can change from one day to another. Trump says something, he's aggressive. Someone is like using more force than they should, and everything is ruined. But if everybody is thinking and stepping back and speaking the truth and so on, this actually can move towards some kind of a peace in the end.